I'm not gonna be
It does
starting.
matter. Everything matters. We are
All right.
live.
All right.
Live, and it's late, and they're trying to blame everything on me. It's probably my fault. It's not
No,
my
we
fault,
weren't blaming it on you. Streaming
Just
issues.
kidding. Streaming issues. That's not me. I didn't do that. Welcome, everybody, to this week's version of DreadLord podcast. We are live and on streaming on Twitch, and please like us, subscribe, join us on all of our media platforms, from YouTube to Apple Podcasts to all the whimsical places. I would like to make a couple of special thanks. This week looks a little different than last week because we are going into space, which is a space version of the DreadLore podcast. I would like to say that a couple of us are showing up late, but here's our cast. The Arbiter is still Bill Buncombe. Andrea will not be here tonight. Daniel is not playing Anthony, Daniel Holker. I just noticed that there's a spelling issue in his last name on our credits.
He's the Holker. He's a Holker.
And Drizzle is playing a different character than Simon, and I will be playing a different character than Nord. Music tonight is by all lowercase letters, and Mr. Interrupt, you can find their music on their websites, as well as on just about everywhere. Apple Music, all the different podcasts or music places, Amazon Music. Please feel free to purchase music from them and support their stuff. We have Patreon people that I don't remember. One of them is Daniel Holker, who is a narrative NPC, and the other one is Tim
Roberts,
who is a different thing that I don't remember.
Yep, he's a recurring star.
A recurring star. This art and media has been brought to you by couchfiremedia.com. And this whole book that came about from that we're playing the system in is with DreadLore. So I don't know what I'm forgetting, but I'm sure I'm forgetting something. And you can go from here.
Yeah.
Sir. Mr. Arbiter, sir.
I shall. Thanks, Ken. Hi, everyone. You have no idea how angry we all are right now. It's like at the last moment, the technology just takes a big old dump. Right. Greetings. Ken told you everything that you need to know. This is all about DreadLore. That's Dread, L-O-R-E. It's a tabletop role-playing game system. Focuses on immersive and cooperative storytelling. The system is setting agnostic, so you can put it in a lot of different genres and settings. Normally, during this time, we're doing the Red Writ, which is a horror investigation, kind of a film noir type of game. Tonight, though, we're going to be down Andrea, and the group is at a certain point in that game to where I want all 4 players to be there. And it seems like a pretty good time. We're on like episode 9 or so of the Red Writ, or 10. This is a good time to have a little bit of a one shot, and we'll do this periodically. I have a setting called Into Space in this sexy, well, now it's gone. Sexy little image you had going on. It's really cool. Think
Into
aliens.
Space.
Into space. Think aliens, Starship Troopers, Blade Runner, all of those things, and you're in the right ballpark. The Expanse. Yeah. So in this series, it's this modular series that eventually will be available on DriveThruRPG. If you go to drivethroughrpg.com and type in DreadLore, eventually you'll be able to find it. Anyway, it's this 10-part series, and the players are these space marines that are jettisoned out into, the soul system and beyond, and they have to go do shit. So if you've ever read I, Robot, it's kind of like that. Like it's anyway. It doesn't matter. I don't need to go into I, Robot.
Is this one of
Cheers.
those? What is it? The Matrix is the same place as Starshiptroopers and
So that's actually, I mean, this is a good thing for an after hours, a good conversation.
aliens.
But there's some theory that those are the same universes, or it's all in the same universe. There was a theory about Avatar as well, but we don't want to get into that. We'll game instead. After we do this podcast, we do it's called DreadLore After Hours, and we're going to talk big time about the game system theory, and all this good stuff. Okay, so these two have characters already, so we won't be showing you character creation, thank God. And Holker will be here in about, at this point, maybe 20, 30 minutes. He has a character as well. Just to start off, how about you guys introduce yourself and your characters, and then I'll talk a little bit about the setting and post a link for it. We'll
Do you want to start
with Drizzle.
Drizzle?
Okay. Yeah. Like I've said before, I played some one-offs. This is my the one longest game that I've played in for the longest time. And I know it says we're in ad break right now, but this will be for at least the people who listen to it later.
Podcast people.
Yeah, or YouTube people.
No, you can talk. You can talk a little bit about your game, and then when the ad's over, you can do your character description.
Do the character. Yeah. So, yeah, I've played mainly one-offs. The Richmond Fae was the longest game that I'd ever played. Played some cool games where I was a dwarf and a bunch of dwarfs, but all of them fell to the wayside, and Richmond Fae is the only one that ever has gone long enough that it ended on. We still got about a minute, so.
Yeah, I enjoyed Richmond Fae. That is an epic campaign, and my favorite parts about the Richmond Fae were the endings. Like, it seems like no matter what was happening, Bill would come up with a way to like have this big shocker ending at the end of it, cliffhanger, where the entire world splits apart and they're all suddenly transported to some other random place.
It kind of got tired after a while, I'm sure, but that was kind of my go-to. The world splits apart again. One more time. Now there's the bigger bad guy. He's the smaller bad guy.
In front of us.
Right in front of you. You join him. The game's not over. Sorry,
that hasn't happened at all in the Red Writ yet. There's not been any cliffhanger. No, there's been cliffhanger endings.
No,
yeah, definitely. Some, but not world splitting.
Yeah, it's been nice. Are we out of the ad?
Yep.
Okay, I'll shut up. Continue talking about your character.
The character I'm playing tonight is Skip Trace. He is a military grunt. He used to be higher ranked, but now is not for some reason. And so that is something that who knows why? We may not find it out tonight.
Ever.
We may not find it out ever. It depends. But yeah, he's learned when to shut up. Go ahead, Ken.
I am playing a character, Dolby Newman. He also was busted down a few ranks, but has probably been because he's a massive alcoholic and he's not super bright, so he's definitely got a crutch. He has a service career in the Army. or Marines, I guess, Space Marines. He's career oriented, and so he'll probably just be a Marine until he dies. He's a bit older as people go. I would say in human years he's probably 80 years old, but in like because of the nature of traveling through space, he is probably 45, 40 years old and looking. And so, yeah, he's a big fan of violence, and at this point, he's been retrained enough that he follows orders and takes no guff, no bullshit kind of guy.
He's a no bullshit guy. It's Dolby. What?
Dolby Newman,
Newman.
like Gary Newman or Newman from Seinfeld, or like Dolby Pro Logic.
And what are your guys' ranks again?
I'm a private E1.
I feel like
shit.
I have
Go
a
on.
rank that is above a private, but I feel like I am a private E1 with the pay of a colonel, or not colonel. Not a sergeant. Whatever the top rank of private.
You were in a previous game. You were a first lieutenant.
Yeah, first
and
lieutenant.
What it is yeah, you got dropped to a second lieutenant. That's what it was.
It's probably because I destroyed an important moon base.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention because I was inebriated at the time. Dolby grew up in Ganymede, Jupiter's, and I think the solar system's largest moon.
You got some nice gams.
He's
Holker had a
visited
pretty
Earth
good
one time. Yeah,
he had a pretty good joke about it, about Ganymede. I forget
oh
what
yeah,
it was. It was really
about
good.
drinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ganymede. That's right. It was about drinking. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully he's here and he can save us all of the viewers from the doldrums of us. I'm kidding.
So before we get started, Dolby takes a shot.
Of course. Just to be fun, how about you guys talk a little bit about the setting, because they're going to hear me a lot, and I'll fill in the gaps.
Well, the setting for the last game, I think.
Well, the setting in general.
For the setting in general, this, as Bill said earlier in the day, this setting is outer space, much like the Expanse. I think they travel further than they do in the Expanse. There's no big wormhole that appears. Spoiler alert. Or what is that? There was another film where they were traveling in space that was Interstellar, where the just spoilers all over the place.
I mean, Interstellar is pretty straightforward,
Sure. Super straightforward. Anyway, so humanity can travel, I think, a couple of light years away.
They can go they can go really far, actually. They have gone over 200.
200. Oh wow.
Yeah, but that's
extreme
distance. Yeah, that's extreme distance.
Much
Those
like
are the
an
distal
aliens
universe.
Yeah. Alien universe. There's a bunch of core planets. Venus is about mining. Luna has a big spaceport. I've got notes. I've got a cheat sheet. There are several different major groups that kind of police the system. Like, we are Marines, and I guess the Prime Naval Brigade is based off of Earth. There's a thing called the Alliance of Settlements, which I believe is probably all the settlements across the solar system.
Yeah.
And then
the Alliance of Settlements is everything.
Yeah, everything. The Sol System Authority, I guess they're the powers that be with Earth and on Earth. Humans are called Zens, and they travel via a drive called a Petra drive. It's not quite a warp drive. It's not quite
No,
speed
not
of
at
light.
all. No, not at all. Yeah, it's not.
They're
This is actually part of the mechanic that I was talking to another gamer, Jason, which Drizzle, you played a one shot with him uh, about. He's actually a physicist, and so we were talking a little bit about what are the MacGuffins and all these things. So I'm gonna jump in real quick, just to mention the engines. There's 2 or 3 different kinds of space travel in this, just to make it nice and complicated. The first one is what Ken said, which is the Petra drive, and this would be kind of a MacGuffin-y. This is where the science fiction really comes in. Um, what it essentially is, if you've seen the prequels to Star Wars, what Obi-Wan Kenobi gets in his little starfighter, that ring that sends him into hyperspace. If you think of it like that, that's essentially what a gravity drive is. Um, there is some science behind it, but I don't want to bore you with it. Uh, those are military grade, and they're not incredibly common. They're also faulty. You guys are aware, and when you use them, you still experience time dilation. That's the main thing. So unlike hyperspace or subspace or the warp or whatever you want to call it, in this, there's really no way to, if you approach the speed of light, there's no way to get out of time dilation. So the other method of space travel would be within a solar system. So the gravity drives, they'd be used to get from solar system to solar system. If you're traveling within, so planetary to planetary or whatever, you're using light sails and quite literally sailing solar winds. So if you're away from a star, then you don't have you don't have as predictable uh, solar winds. There are actually solar winds out in space, from what I understand, types of radiation, but that would be considered dangerous. Using a light sail, you can go in Star Trek terms about a quarter impulse. So that's about a quarter the speed of light, and that's hauling ass. Like you can go like to Mars in a pretty, I think it's like hours or something. But to get to, I can't remember where Ganymede is. I have it
Ganymede's
in.
by Jupiter, just outside of the.
Yeah, so it's not gonna take, like, an extreme amount of time, but it takes a minute. Oh, yeah, I have it in the core document. So, if you're going, as fast as you can go with a light sail, to get to Mars, it'll take you about an hour, right? So that's going
That's
as
super
fast as you
fast.
can go. It
Mhm.
does take you a little bit of time to speed up. So, it's a few hours. And then, of course, we're abstracting how complicated space is because Mars is around 2 astronomical units, AUs away from Earth, but not all the time, right? Like because it's moving, right? Like there's times that's when it's close.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. When
so
it's
these
on
are
the other
all
side of the sun,
right.
it
So these
takes
are
a bit
all
longer.
these are all averages and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And plotting courses it's not easy to do. So if you have in your head the kind of like Star Warsy, you have to have a nav computer, um, so you don't fly into a sun or something. That kind of mentality is definitely in this setting, and also it takes time to do everything. Even if it's a few hours, it's got to be fairly precise to go that much distance. When you're using these light sails, by and large, you're moving in straight lines. Um, yeah, like you can tack and stuff, on the solar winds, but uh, yeah. Anyway, I won't go too much into it. One other thing, or two other things, I'll say. So to get to Jupiter, it would take you, if you're going full blast, assuming that you've got a really nice trajectory, take you about 3 hours. Okay. Now, of course, if Jupiter's in the wrong spot, that could be like, a few days. So we're still in the solar system. Let's say you wanted to get to um,
Pluto.
Alpha Centauri.
Oh, yeah, that's like what, 5 light years away? 6 light?
4.5,
4.
or 4 and a
Yeah.
quarter. It would take you 17 years.
Whee.
That's going full impulse, which is as fast as you can go with a light sail. So that's when you'd want to use a gravity drive. But the thing is, you're still going to experience some kind of time dilation. And those are where, like Alpha Centauri, and within about 4 to 10-ish light years, those are the proximal colonies. And beyond that, you've got the distal colonies. Pluto would take you around 20 hours going full impulse. We're just going to call it impulse. That's
Full
assuming
solar sail.
Yeah. And you're nowhere near outside of the solar system. To actually get outside of our solar system, outside the heliosphere, like it takes a really, 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 really long time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would it not be full sail? I mean, I feel like that
I think
would
it should
a
be
term.
full sail.
What's that? I feel like that
I'll give you a
sounds
pip for that.
Nice.
Okay, so there's a little bit of boring information about this this setting. Can you have anything else?
I do have a question about where we left off. Are we starting?
Well,
I presume we're
well,
starting new.
No.
And
Oh,
did history happen the way it
Oh yeah,
happened?
history
Okay.
happened. Yeah,
Okay.
all of what you guys have done and not done is in play. But we're gonna do a montage to the present. So some time has passed. We'll get to that in just a second. There are also thrusters. That's for moving short distances, and thrusters and rockets are used for re-entry as well as space combat. They are normally nuclear powered, unless it's rockets to actually get into an atmosphere. Then it's oxygen hydrogen mixtures. Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
Hello, Gotham. What's up? We're playing Into Space today. Hope you dig it.
Into space.
Drizzle, you want to talk about the setting a little bit? What you remember of it? You're looking
Well,
at me like,
Well, Ken takes way better notes because most of the time these are one-offs, and so I don't take a lot of. I mean, it's just the.
all I hear is just keep on going.
It's like it's like aliens and starship troopers and
already
that sort of
said that.
stuff. Yeah. No, you said that before we went live.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Really?
Because we were. Because you said that would make good after hours, and we should go ahead and start.
Well, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Maybe we were live.
Right. There's cryo beds. There is on larger ships. There is artificial gravity, which is again a MacGuffin. But most ships don't have it. People are using mag boots, or they have the centrifugal force to simulate gravity, or the ships are shaped like a penis, and so they, by accelerating, have gravity. This is an idea that my buddy Patrick, who's running a D6 sort of spacey game, had, and it's a pretty cool idea. So I just totally stole it.
Yeah. There are also netics.
Yeah. Netics, right?
Which are cybernetic, where people with cybernetic parts, basically. There is AI and robots, but they are very far and few between, and they try.
No, there aren't. There are no AI. The true AI doesn't exist.
There are no.
Absolutely no.
Absolutely none.
Dolby has met a few AIs that don't exist.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you they don't exist. That's a real thing. They don't exist.
What is the name of the aliens?
I think it's alien influences, but they have an enemy called the Clad. I think that is a thing.
Yeah, they're a terrorist group.
It's a terrorist group, and they have. I think in the last game that we played, he was on the moon. We were getting ready to go into deep space, which was like a 40-year sleep, and Dolby kind of lucked us into going to the moon because he'd just gotten off of a significant journey, and the time before that.
Both of you had.
Oh yeah, because
Yep.
because Burgess or I guess Skip was there, and how we go to the moon to protect this lunar base.
We're gonna get into your history in a second.
Okay.
I'm just talking setting stuff.
Well,
So
still
what
more
is the
settings?
alien
Okay, we
name
got-
of the
they're called the Krisk.
the
Oh, is
Krisk?
it
Yes.
Krisk? I
Yeah,
didn't
that
have
like
that written
very
down.
few people have seen the Krisk
They don't
because
exist.
they're
What
so
Krisk?
far out.
I don't see any Krisk.
They don't exist. There's no such thing as aliens. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Or AI.
Yes.
Or AI. Skip. There's no such thing as aliens. Only Zens. And Netics
Yes,
are
sir.
basically Zens. So what's a Zen? It's a denizen. This is a time and place where people are not called human. And there's a reason for that, right? Like you might be called human if you're from Prime, from Earth, but most likely you're called an Earther or a Zen or a Primer. So there's this idea of reforming the mindscape of what we are. There are netics. So if you have a certain amount of cybernetics in your body, I think it's over 50%, you're not actually considered a Zen anymore, and you have no rights. There are things called RIs, which are robotic intelligence, and they are not AI. Skip. True AI is theoretical, and in the setting, it's one of those things where if you've seen Ghost in the Shell, like the animated series, or if you read the manga, that's the fear of true AI. It doesn't need a body. It can hack into shit. It's really scared and all, or everybody's scared of it and such.
Much like Marvel's, what was the guy? Ultron.
Brainiac? Oh, Ultron.
Ultron. Yeah,
Ultron.
Ultron.
Oh, Marvel, right? Not DC, right?
Yeah, Marvel's Ultron or Picard's Data.
Oh yeah, dude. All right. Spoilers all over the place. So the Krisk are we don't need to get too much into them unless you meet them. But if you check out the setting document, you can find all about them. There's a couple different sorts of them, and then there's sorts of artificials. Supposedly, there are artificial persons, APs, and I just stole that directly from Aliens. That's
Nope.
where that comes from. I mean, I didn't steal it; it was stolen. And then there's things called thetics, which are false humans. So if you want to get into all that stuff, you guys can check it out. I'm talking to the chat, and of course, you guys. Lil G, are you able to see that document? Let the drizzle know. Right. So, you guys have a sordid past. Both of you have been in the PNB, the Prime Naval Brigade, for a while. So the Marine Corps is a part of the Prime Naval Brigade. In this future, they're not separate branches, or they're not autonomous branches, I should say. They've come together more, but there is a Prime Naval Brigade, and then there's a Marine Corps itself. So you're in the Marine Corps, Space Marine Corps, and you are a part of the Prime Naval Brigade. You guys had a secret mission to a distal outpost called Whisper Base. No one knows about this. You probably don't talk about it. You've probably been told it didn't happen. And you definitely did not find an AI there. After that went down, and you were bumped down in rank and all of the stuff, you guys were sent to Prime, which is actually a nice thing. Hey, it's Holker. And were retrained. You went through boot camp again, officer training school, etc. And that's where we started our last one-shot, where you were on your way to Apollonia Station, which is one of the main military stations outside of Mars. And you were with a bunch of fresh recruits, space marines, who were all indoctrinated as hell. When a Lieutenant Calabash, Sarah Calabash, who you formerly were colleagues with, Dolby, or at least knew of her, she comes up to you and says, hey, so I realize that you're all going to be, you and your team, the fire team that you've been set up with, that, of rejects, you're going to be sent to the Alaska of space. Or you could do this mission on Lunia, on the moon, that it's incredibly clandestine. Anyway, that was the last one shot. Before I continue, let's introduce Holker, and you can briefly talk about your character.
Hello, everyone. My name is Holker. But before I introduce my character, I just want to say one thing. Tonight's one-shot is sponsored by a hot new band. It's the best thing in music ever for like the last 3 months. This band is called the Soggy Cardboard Conspiracy. They will be playing at an open mic near you.
Thank you.
All right, now my character is named Frank Garnier. He is from Peace, Alberta. He is a lumberjack, farmer, and survivalist. And yeah, he was in the last adventure where things went down. And he will be in this adventure where more things will go down.
Were you in the Whisper Base one? You just played in one other one, right?
So I played.
No, he played. One. Yeah, I think I don't.
He was.
I don't
he was
know
in.
if he was. I think he was in both.
I think you're in both. Yeah. So
but
you're with the rejects.
He also took a flying leap off a very fast moving car.
That was another one too.
And at least a couple of these ones.
So good. So good. You didn't get the full link. You're not able to click on it. Okay.
I've got
Sweet. Thank you, sir. Right. And Lil Gotham, you can comment all over that. You actually might be looking at it right now. If you are, then you are Anonymous Hyena. Please do comment. If you don't understand anything, if you have ideas, it doesn't edit the thing, so feel free to, put lewd jokes and everything you want in there. And that goes for anybody. Just jump on that bitch and comment the hell out of it.
Yay, sexualizing space.
Hey! Yeah, why not? Right, so, yeah, you guys went to Prime, to the Marine... Whoa. To the Marine boot camp down there. If you've seen Starship Troopers, it's just like that. And you got retrained. They think that, your contracts are still good, which is great, because otherwise you're in trouble. You hear... actually, I should tell you what happens at the moon base. So, your mission at the moon base was to... you had been told that there was an auxiliary launch pad. It was a industrial launch pad, and rebels, dissidents, had closed it down. And it was about to be a political thing. So you were supposed to go and make sure that the launch pad was not destroyed, that it was opened back up, and that no one found out about it. And if you can get the leader alive, to bring him back. any of his followers, or any of that person's followers. Turns out it's a he. So we played about 3/4 of the way through that one shot, and Andrea's character started blowing up shit because it turns out her character was a Martian spy.
I was not in that game.
Oh, you weren't?
Character's
No.
name was Parthonen?
Perhaps. I can't remember.
Yeah, Parthonen.
It's been redacted anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what that never happened.
Yeah, it never happened. So the Martians, they were one of the first colonies after Venus. And the long and the short of it is, or after Venus and Lunia, the long and the short of it is, shit started going down when Mars started wanting to be more autonomous. You know, a typical history. And eventually, after this, the first or second Martian war, Mars is folded into the collective under the Solar System Authority. So their military, while it still technically exists, it's kind of like Japan's military. Like there isn't one, but there is one.
Quick question. So when Mars was folded in back into the Soul Collective, did it get an obituary?
God damn it. Yes, it did. And everyone read it, and they sang songs about it. You'll get a pip. I hate you. Right. So all of that happened. Now the Martian police operatives, so the MPO, basically that infrastructure acts as kind of a coast guard for intrastellar travel. So if you're going around the solar system, you need help. It's the Martian military that shows up and helps you, because they had the infrastructure anyway to do it, and mining in the asteroid belt and all that good stuff. So this is what happened. Andrea's character, what was her name again? You don't know because it was redacted, right?
Or what? Who? What?
Exactly.
Nope.
That person, turns out she was a dirty traitor, and the explosion goes off. She's killed. Several of the dissidents were severely injured and or killed, and you were able to save the launch pad by disarming the 2 tactical nuclear warheads that were attached to it. And you got 2 you got 3 prisoners. One is a Marine turncoat, as she has been called. Her name is Private Aliss Brick. The reason I mention her is because she's still alive. You bring her back. She was pretty wounded. She's the one that was trying to snipe you out of the crater, if you remember.
I thought she got dead.
Yeah, she wasn't dead though.
Oh, okay.
You were able to get a scientist whose name you never actually got. She had no credentials. You knew that she was a Lunia R&D scientist, and she smelled a lot of Black Ops, which there are a couple groups. Essentially, they're not officials. What are those guys called? Operatives. But she didn't say anything about any of that. All right, and you got the leader. His name, I'll pull up really fast. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get his name. I'm gonna tell it to you. Just got it for scroll. His name is Heron Grit. He's a moon child, so he's from Lunia. And this is another thing you guys would have found out is all of the dissidents, quote unquote, were moon children. All of them were somehow affiliated with the LLP, which is the Lunia Labor Party. And Heron Grit, initially, when you apprehend him, is pretty mouthy and saying that the Lunia Authority government, which is called LAG, it's not a pun though, has been slow to help out the LLP, and that the launch pad has been secretly being used by the military before someone shuts him up. So he spouts off a bunch of stuff which for your characters may or may not seem true. That's entirely up to you. However, it becomes very evident why he's been labeled a dissident. And technically he's not technically a rebel, but it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from it. And within just a few weeks of his apprehension, his face is everywhere on, the news as a wannabe member of the Clad. He's not really a member of the Clad, the actual terrorists, but he was willing to, sell everyone out and blah blah blah. So he's shut up when he starts talking. It's incredibly dangerous talk. You all realize, whether you believe it or not, and you guys bring it back. There's a little bit of news coverage of the event, but that is quickly silenced, and you are all not held accountable for this. When you come back, when you are picked up, because you just dropped off the last time, when the freighter comes back with Lieutenant Sarah Calabash on it. What was the freighter called? Let's see. It was kind of had a cool name. The Hardline, the PNB Hardline, actually does come back for you. It'll be maybe like 4 or 5 days later, and Calabash debriefs you, Dolby. And we can run that scene right now because you guys will be on your way to Apollonia again. This time, Skip, you were on the flight. So we'll say that you were held back.
I was with Calabash.
Oh, you're with Calabash. Yeah, you're with Calabash. There you go.
So then that way,
yeah,
that puts us back together.
Mm-hmm. And what is your guys' fire team called? I was calling it the Rejects, but you could be whatever.
We were called Fireteam 4.
All right.
We had a better back in the one with the research. We had a better team name back then. I don't remember what it was though.
No, you guys can make it up. Well, Gotham, what should their team name be? Their fire team name?
I thought it was. Oh no, I came up with a dance called the Moon Dance.
Good. At any rate, think on your name. Calabash is there. You're blasting your way to Mars. The fusion rockets are going, and the light sails are out. Not furled all the way, but they're out. I forget what that's actually called. It's not called guffing. There's a word for it when you make the sail shorter, the surface area, because there's a lot of wind.
I have a suggestion for our fire team.
Gaffing. Yeah, go on.
the burning
Fire ferrets. Lil Gotham says you're the fire ferrets. Lil Gotham, if you
What about
Do
the
you guys-
ferret faucets?
the ferret faucets.
the burning sensations.
Lil, Lil Gotham will say that if you want them to be the fire ferrets, then you use the channel point thing to do like I think it's like a narrative point or something. No, she says no.
Nope.
Well, I think to what you guys were saying. Yeah, if you want to lock it in and force them to have the fire ferrets,
Yeah, we can be the fire
use
ferrets.
channel points. Use channel points to burning. No. Oh, you want burning
Well-
sensations. That's what you want. That was a good one. All right, well, fuck it. That's what it is. If you want to lock it in, channel points for one narrative point, and boom, that's what it is. You guys can continue. Talk amongst yourselves about your characters. I'm going to use Albano. I think an ad is going to come up pretty soon, and figure out what your fire team is, and we'll actually start this montage and the actual game.
Hulker, were you in the one where we got on the space station? Like where Skip Trace was there?
So I was in a past one, the one where we were on the moon. I was in that one.
Yeah, there
Okay,
was
like
there
what-
was one where we flew off to some place that was a few light years away, and it was a secret military base that if you ask Dolby about, it didn't exist. Where we landed on the surface, ran across a couple of non-existent AIs, and
Yeah.
I
And your
think you had super awesome weapons.
Yeah, I
Or
know.
you
I have a
shut
big. I have a big gun. I have
You had a big gun. And I we
Well, were you
we were very-
were you the Canadian that time, Hulker? Okay, so I do know. I was just making sure that I knew.
That's
your
my character now.
But you weren't the Canadian then, were you? In that game? I'm just trying to figure out if Skip Trace has met you. Skip Trace knows Dolby, but I don't know if he's met you.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Sorry, Ken, to cut you off there.
Oh no, it's okay. I didn't have anything. But because you weren't on. Skip wasn't on the moon. It was.
I wasn't on the one with the terrorists. Yeah.
So your character is no longer named Burgess. Am I making that up? Hulker.
Who?
That actually, you know what? I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh, is it? So Burgess and Dolby knew each other, and we kind of stuck together during that, didn't we? And then I think the other characters kind of went off on a different tangent for the
And blew stuff up.
blew stuff up, yeah. And I feel like Dolby was so inebriated for the whole thing that he didn't really want to get involved with any of the trivial details. And so we just kind of took the major AI brain that didn't exist off the planet and then blew the shit up.
Yeah. That was the last that I saw of you, Dolby. And then I guess I stayed on the ship with Calabash while
So,
you guys did the other stuff.
So if you guys haven't already, Logotham paid for us to hydrate, so you have to drink something.
Cheers.
Cheers. She also paid a narrative point to say it's the burning sensations.
Yeah.
So, sorry, your agency just got taken away.
No more Fireteam. We are now the burning.
You are
four
the burning sensations.
We are four burning sensations.
You are for burning sensations. I got to keep those players healthy. That's truth. Burning sensations. I don't know why I'm writing this in a book that I'm just going to turn into digital. Okay.
All
I
at
almost
different
had-
points along the space station.
Right. Right. So you're the burning sensations. So as you sit down, Calabash is there. I do have a description for her, I believe.
Hopefully it
Give me a second.
matches the image that I showed.
Yeah, go ahead and show that image again. We'll see.
Because she looks tough. She's
Am I
like
in the
no
wrong-
guff kind of soldier.
By the way, this module, I think it is available on the Google Drive. Well,
Let
it's
me
probably
just
not
check.
actually because it's not actually finished. So
There's a little gun there. She's got like
Out
a
of curiosity,
mega gun.
what
that's
was
pretty
our-
good.
So I think I was a private or corporal at the most.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fresh.
Was
You
that
were
was
fresh.
that the one on Mar or on the moon or the
On
one?
moon.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're likely a private or a private first class. If Skip is just a private, then you are likely just a private. In fact, I'm pretty sure I said everyone was bumped down to the lowest they could go. They don't drop officers down to enlisted, so that's why Dolby is a lieutenant 2nd grade. All right. Lieutenant Sarah Calabash, she's around 28 years old looking. Has a very competent look, tough. Presently, she's not bleeding. Actually, fuck it, yeah, she will be. Think of Starbuck in the new BSG. That's kind of what she looks like. She's got dirty blonde hair, hazelish eyes, maybe green, bronzish skin, athletic, around 5'8", and we'll say Dolby. She just got out of actually a bout, as in like a raffle boxing match with some other officers and some Martians and stuff on Mars, because they were there for a few days. So she has a little bit of like dried blood on her nose, and her knuckles are a little bit messed up because it was bare knuckle. Why not?
Yeah.
As she's
I guess
sitting
they
there,
didn't see it coming. Yeah.
Yeah. As she's sitting there looking at you, she's got this dossier. It looks like paper. You know, of course, it's not. It's on this very thin plastic that she can slide to you in very expanse style to your little Palm Pilot looking thing. And there's graphics going on these documents. It's all in Courier New. It's all green lettering, like the old computers, like in the 80s. And despite that, you'll have moving images and trajectories and all kinds of shit. Think, what is that Hogwarts thing? Harry Potter, right? When the news has like the moving video and shit. Yeah, she's looking over these things. You've just sat down. The door is one of those doors that, think of like a submarine, where you got to step over the threshold, and the doors looks like a Tylenol. It's like shaped like a fucking Tylenol. Has a little porthole. Thunk. She says, without looking up, "Go ahead and close the door, Dolby."
Yes, sir.
As you say, "Yes, sir," she looks up, and you catch just the smallest smile, because not too long ago, you were the same rank as she was. This is the montage. You don't need a bid. She's not a hateful person. It probably is just a wry smile of, yeah, you don't have to call me sir. But she doesn't say that.
Yeah, sir. I shut the door and sit down next to her and take a drink out of my flask.
She looks over at it. You guys are on a spaceship right now, but because you're rocketing, you got about 3/4 gravity. So it feels pretty good, especially having just been on Prime less than a week ago. She looks over at it. And you're still in the sauce, huh?
What sauce?
Again, the wry smile comes.
Do you
So-
want a nip?
Yeah, she takes it and takes a swig.
This stuff's real,
Yeah. What is that from Lunia? What is that?
No, this is from Prime. This is like moonshine for Prime. This is like real deal a gravity 1 alcohol.
Yeah. Her eyes are red and such. Well, be careful on that stuff. It affects you a little bit different in space. Are you ready for?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for what's coming next? You did a good job. She looks at the manifest. Burning sensations.
Yeah.
New
we
name?
had a little trader issue, but dealt with that handily.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get some good information out of Grit. There's a bit of a silence she has after she says his name. She'll even swipe some of the pages, the digital pages, and you see him sitting there. The photograph of him, he looks worse for the wear. It's only been a few hours that he's been in custody.
Yeah, he's
So-
looking better than he did.
Yeah, so just between you and me, as she taps a little device, a red light comes on, you hear a high-pitched squee, and then it fades into out of your hearing range. What actually happened down there?
We were
She got a
given the
kind of a
target.
look in her eye as she says that, by the way.
Yeah, we were given the target, but I'm not really sure that anything. We just took some sun, jumped over some craters. It was just a normal day on the moon, sir.
She nods. You can tell you've passed the test as she taps the little button again. Well, that's good to know. Are you ready for what's coming for you? Or what's coming to you? She corrects. You all did a good job, and that means they're going to want more.
I'm gonna bid.
So if you bid, you're out of the montage, which is fine.
Yeah, I
But it
would
means
like to
suddenly
bid.
there are thresholds.
Yeah, I would like to bid indoctrinated.
Okay.
And say, I'll do what the Navy asked me to do, sir.
As you bid that, it works. What are you trying to accomplish with it?
I just, I've been on the outside trying to get her confidence. Maybe I would like my family to, get a little bit of pay bump. I know I'm still getting paid what I used to get paid, but I think that Dolby is interested in trying to reclaim some of his lost. Like he's feeling good, and he wants to make good of being an asshole all his life. And
I dig this. So since we're dropping out of the montage and you're making that bid, to accomplish this goal, we're going to give you a threshold on it. So I'll have you throw down threshold for her, because essentially you're trying to convince her of something. Threshold for hers too, because she's not going against you, but she does need a little convincing.
got it. This is a mind or a wit? It doesn't matter.
I think either one.
All right. Well, they're both the same. So.
Oh well. And for the chat, it actually does matter what they roll, even if it's the same, because the results would be.
Oh,
different.
sure. I'm gonna do wit, and it is 2 successes.
So you're at limbo. You gonna do any ninja gear to get extra dice, any abilities to get successes or proficiencies?
Well, I did take a hit off of that little flask of
good?
bourbon.
Yeah.
The good.
Well, yeah, and does that bourbon have any traits on it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Let's say it does, since you described it so well. Well,
Yeah.
whatever, like real gravity
Yeah.
bourbon or whatever. you wanna call
like
it.
strong wine ish.
Yeah, strong wine. Sure. So that means it's a D6 you get.
You gotta,
So roll
you gotta
your
have a
D6.
you gotta have a little something. I got a 6. So
All right, boom. So that's 3 successes. So you beat it by 1. Clean success as you say this to her, and Calabash looks at you. She taps the device again. Look, I know it was bullshit what happened to you. It could have happened to me, honestly. She kind of stares off dramatically, looking back. But what the burning sensations she struggles with accomplished, I think you should get your rank back, and I'll put in for that. Since I'm technically the commander on this mission, giving you the orders, we're going to do a field promotion. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to stick, okay? That's up to the higher ups. That's up to the brass. But if you do good on this one, I think it would go a long way. They might overlook. Ting! All right. Lieutenant, I think for this mission you need to have a little bit more clearance. So, she slides over, does some hollow keyboard, and you see your name. Clink. Go to First Lieutenant. You are now First Lieutenant Newman, as she extends her hand to shake yours.
I shake her hand and thank you, sir.
Now I get to tell you what the mission is. She smiles, and you can tell that it's going to be a doozy. We're going to move over to you two. Over to Frank and Skip.
Actually, I found out the character name that I used is actually Burgess.
So it was Burgess. Okay. Actually,
the
Ken
Canadian was the
mentioned that.
Western character, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Burgess. Was it just Burgess?
I think. I can't find his character sheet, so I'm using a
Good.
similar one. I'm using
I
a similar
wrote
one
it down.
to another one.
That's Burgess.
All right, so he's Burgess. So as Burgess, you've had many names. We'll say, where are you all? We've dropped out of the montage into the dread, but I think I'm just going to move back up into the montage. So you guys get to decide where you are on the ship. It's a military transport shaped like the Washington Monument, thrusting off with fusion thrusters and like a quarter sail towards Apollonia Station. It's going to take you a few hours, we'll say 5-6 hours to get to where you want to go. Where are you guys? What are the compartments? Typical spaceship compartments.
So was Calabash fighting on the ship? Were they sparring on the ship?
No, they were sparring on Apollonia Station, but you could have easily been there if you want. It's up to you.
Well, I'm gonna say that I was sparring. I was like, because it was multiple people, I guess.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I was one of them. So I would be in my area cleaning myself up.
How well did you do?
What do you want me to? You want me to just say?
No, it's montage. Yeah, montage. There's no throwing down. There's no bidding.
Well, I did very well. Just because I'm very muscular and stuff like that, and but I didn't take necessarily. I didn't gloat it, Like I was like, it was more practice for me,
Sure.
even though I did well on it.
Did you fight Calabash?
I was thinking about that, but
It's up to you.
I'm going to say no.
Hey, chat. Did he fight Calabash? And did he win?
If you want to, we can do that because I thought about doing that. But
We'll see if Lil Gotham and anyone else has a preference on this. Okay, so perhaps you did, perhaps you didn't. You've definitely taken some hits here and there, and we'll say that you're in the bunk area. Remember, 3/4 gravity for you. I think Mars. Holker, do you know what Martian gravity is? Is it a quarter?
No, I think it's about half of what you experience on Earth.
Okay, about half. So for you guys,
Maybe
are
a
you
third,
both?
but
Are you
somewhere around
both?
there.
Are you both primers, or where are you from?
I'm Martian.
Oh, so it's fine. So this is actually kind of heavy feeling
Yeah.
for you. And what about you, Burgess? Where's your guy from?
I'm a primer.
Oh yeah. So it feels great. You're at 3/4 gravity. Maybe moving a little bit slower. Skip, and I keep on wanting to call you guys, your real names.
Yeah.
Your real names: Simon,
Yeah.
Tony, Nord. Right. You guys are in the bunk area. There's would it make sense on a spaceship to have hammocks? That seems like a really bad idea. The little cots. You just get tied up and hanged. Yeah, they're not. There's no hammocks. That makes no sense here. There's no gravity. I mean, there is. Okay, anyway, yeah. What are you doing? Describe it. You guys can talk to each other. This is to set you up.
Well, I'm sitting
Are
there.
we all together or?
No. You're still
Okay.
talking to Calabash.
So I would probably be like in my little area cleaning up like some cuts and stuff like that. Then you walk in, Hulker.
Yeah. What the hell happened to you, Skip?
Oh, Private Burgess. It's good to see you again. We just doing some sparring. You know, sometimes you get hit and you got to take care of it.
Yeah, after what happened on the moon, I'm all sparred out for a bit. I'll just say that.
Well, it's. Oh, and what happened down
Luna.
there?
Sorry, we terminology is a little different. I realize that.
Well, I've been on this ship, so I don't know what happened with you guys down there.
We had a little run-in with some people.
Well,
Not everyone made it. I made it, of course.
how about Lieutenant Dolby? Is he still up and kicking?
He's up and drinking.
Okay, well, that sounds about right. Just making
Yeah.
sure.
But he's I'm pretty sure he's on the ship somewhere. He might be a different rank. I can't go any lower, but
What happened to the greenhorn?
Andrea's character.
yeah, I think she wandered off.
Casualty of war. Okay. Happens to him. That's what happens.
You know where we're going next?
No, I haven't heard any orders yet.
Burgess, you know what happened to Andrea's character. What actually was her name? I don't remember.
It's Carthonin.
Carthonin. To Carthonin. She betrayed everyone, and
Yeah.
the explosion she caused threw her against the wall and injured her. And when she was trying to get away, someone killed her. Who is it going to be?
I think she got killed by my laser sword.
Yeah.
Get cut in half.
Yeah. Dolby cut her in half with a a sword. When we say laser sword, it's not actually a lightsaber. It's a it's kind of this springy metal that heats up really, really hot. It looks like a lightsaber, but as you move it, it's like plasma that can swing around and like wrap around things.
Maybe
a cattle prod.
It's like a foam
Cattle prod sword.
carver.
maybe Dolby blinded her with science. Sorry,
Yeah.
but before most people's time. That's an old reference for y'all watching. Anyways,
No, she was just here in my car.
okay,
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
pretty good. So back to the montage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back to the game,
Carthonia-
Holker.
Huh?
Nothing. Go.
Carthonia, you know, she wandered off into, you know, maybe she wandered out the airlock. Okay, it happens. You get lost. You go out the wrong door. You spend eternity in the vacuum of space.
Some soldiers aren't cut out for this life.
And some soldiers get cut up. It happens.
The door opens. It's all, for some reason, big submarine doors. I'm just going to go for that feel. As you hear the spinning of, you know, the wheel lock. As the door swings open. In walks a lady marine. Why do I say lady marine? Because she's a marine and she's also a lady. I want to make sure you know. Right. Looking for her description. Her description's over here. It's up here. I went the wrong way. She's about 25-ish looking years old. She is the build of a moon child. You both can probably tell. So, her skin is, it's not very tanned at all. Although, she is likely of, it's kind of hard to tell, maybe a mixture of African American, or I don't know why I said American because there's no America in this setting. African or perhaps Middle Eastern, something along those lines. But she's very, very, very pale, as are most people that, you know, live in space. Lots of definition, you know, being a Marine, but it's the kind of definition you get from working out in space, not from gravity. And it just sort of changes the way the body looks, which both of you could be very accustomed to seeing.
What's her name again?
Of note, you know her, Burgess. You met her. Her name is Private Aliss Brick. She was one of the quote-unquote dissidents that tried to kill you on the moon, on Lunia, and you guys shot, and you thought she was dead, but she wasn't. You took her hostage. That was a few days ago, and she's walking in here. You can see, both of you, that she has underneath, she's got her arm in a sling, you know, and she's favoring her left side, as she had been shot, I should say. She walks in, steps over the threshold, closes the door, not really seeing you guys at first, before looking up. When she sees you, Skip, she gives you a nod. You can tell she's a second class private, so she's the same rank as you.
Oh,
She just gives you a curt nod, and then her eyes wander to Burgess, where she quickly averts her gaze and goes to a bunk. It's on the bottom, on the other end of the room. So she doesn't cross you. She's still at the door. We'll say that you guys are at the far end of this sort of long room. And she's going about her sort of business, definitely not looking in your all's direction suddenly, Skip. She gave you a nod, looked past you, and then quickly averted her gaze and started doing her own thing.
Some turmoil there, Burgess.
Yeah. Private Brick.
You can tell she hears you. She kind of half turns and continues messing with her duffel bag.
Private Brick.
Turning on her heel, she kind of goes contrapposto. She's about 5'5", dark hair. It's pretty long for a Marine, like it's coming down almost to her shoulders. Again, she looks very young, being a moon child. Like, she could pass for like a 16, 18-year-old. They tend to age really slowly because of the gravity and such, and lack of sun. She turns and contrapposto, one hand on the hip. Yeah? What do you want?
Welcome aboard.
Takes her a moment. Thanks. She's biting her lip. Glad to be here. And she starts messing with her duffel bag again.
I go over. I turn to Skip. Say and I nod to Skip. We'll talk.
Classified, I get it.
All right. In Calabash's room, chambers. I keep on wanting to call you Nord. You're not Nord. Dolby.
Yes.
Calabash is about to unleash the mission upon you. When over the intercom, you and everyone else hear a squelch. Is it squelch or squelch? I think it's squelch. Squelch? Is it? Is it squelch?
I think it's a squelch.
A squelch?
Squelch.
Well, sounds better when you say squelch, I think.
Squelch like a pig?
Yeah, it squelches. You hear a familiar voice. It's the voice of an older man, an admiral whom you've all heard plenty of times before in this PSA, on this boat of Marine graduates. Marines, are you ready? And you hear echoing, behind the steel walls and such, hoorah of everyone else. Do you guys respond? This is still a montage.
Yeah, I'll respond. Hoorah! Not like super loud or charge, but
Calabash says hoorah, and she does the hand signal. What's the hand signal for your guys' totalitarian corporatocracy that's essentially fascism? This?
jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Something got lost in the history, so they're just like, this was the most daring and offensive thing you could possibly do. Anything? Gotham? Anything?
No, it's like this.
I can't.
Or it could be the fighting stance.
the marine fighting stance. Space marine fighting stance. We have to be careful with the hand signals, of course. Logotham says, yes. So I'm thinking, there's too much groove in that.
Yeah.
It's got to be something fascists would do. Oh, like
What about what
President
about,
Scrooge?
Hand up.
Salute.
Hand up.
Like that?
Yeah.
Like
Something that doesn't exist.
Right.
And it looks weird.
Okay, so both of you kind of do this, or she does this kind of, lift the booty or whatever it's called. So that's the hand signal.
Oh, it could be. Smack.
The future. Private Brick doesn't say anything you guys note.
I will
Back in
say it.
Go on.
I'm just gonna say I'll say it, but not do the hand motion.
What about you, sir? I'm looking at you. Can't you tell? Holger. Do you say oorah?
Hoorah!
Okay, you do.
I guess. I mean,
The voice continues. Your choice to become a Marine in the Prime Naval Brigade will be a lasting one. You can hear the cheers. Remember, this ship is shaped like a pencil, basically. So it's always in front of you or behind you in the same, in one line. After you finish your commitment, there's like a little ding ding. And if you have an earpiece in, you can, if you want, short range comms, then a lower volume female voice that's very, very pleasant says what the asterisks mean. Finish your commitment. Commitments normally run 10 years from first deployment and are unaffected by cryo-sleep, time dilation, or other time-altering events. You will have won your right to citizenship within the illustrious Alliance of Settlements, AOS, within standard space as governed by the Sol System Authority. More of this cheering. Are you guys doing anything at this time? Ember is in the house. What's up, Ember?
I'm all in right now.
You're all in, like you're like,
and
oh yeah?
yeah, like just.
Brick is looking over at you. We'll say she's 20 feet away. It's a rather long ship. It's maybe 6 stories long, not including the engines and the cockpits and stuff. The future is now. Future's now. You will be equipped with the finest P&B weapons, armor, and tools. Ding ding. Does anyone click the thing to know what the ding ding is? If you do, say yo.
I do not have my earpiece in. I've heard this multiple times, and so I'm just still looking at my I'm kind of stretching after having done the fight, and I've cleaned up my wounds. I'm just kind of limbering up some.
Do either of you listen to it?
Dolby does not. He's heard it all before. He's heard this speech before. This is
Burgess?
all very old hat.
Yeah, nobody wants to listen to it. To fight the enemies of standard space. SSA, AOS.
My alter ego, who this is their first time in a spaceship, hits the button every single time.
Oh, of course. Any and every threat shall be eradicated, turned, stomped into the non-existence of the void of empty space. Whether it's and finally, Calabash goes, boop. In her chambers, it actually silences. The rest of you get to hear it, though. Chat, if you want to hear it, it's in the setting document, which Drizzle will post now.
Repost the same link?
Yeah, if you can repost it, yeah. Calabash looks over at you. Oh god, that guy. Okay. I'm assuming you're probably ready for the mission, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I got a couple of people I've worked with on the ship today. We might need a fourth, but
We already
I
have
think
one for you.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir.
You're not going to like much about this mission, Newman. She kind of smiles at you. First things first, you're going to be going back in the cryo-sleep. She kind of winces to see how you respond to that.
I don't respond.
It's about 4 light years away, so it's not very long. Now, of course, there's a ... here, which is if you were using a gravity drive, that wouldn't be such a big deal. So there's something happening. I'll tell you. So you're going to Nova Terra, or Novus Terra. Now, we will go into the dread on this. You're going to Novus Terra. It's about 4 light years away. Opposite direction of Alpha Centauri. It's one of those outposts, one of the 2nd gen outposts. So they kind of knew what they were doing, and they sort of went their own way. Well, we just got communique back, which, of course, she does a little math in her head. That means calculating bureaucracy and the fact that they don't have upgraded buoys 8-10 years ago. She grimaces. So this is kind of old information, what you're walking into. But we just found out that the governor of Novus Terra, a guy named Alexander Bell, she again grimaces. They weren't... Anyway, has been assassinated. The colony's been taken over by a rebel leader. When I say rebel, I don't necessarily mean the Clad, although the Clad may have gotten to them. I'm not sure exactly why they would. This place is fairly far off the beaten path. At any rate, that rebellion needs to be put down, and the leader, who's now an autocrat, needs to be taken out of power, and she slides over some papers, or he needs to sign up, with the SSA. Truth is, the brass don't care who's in charge just so long as they're following orders and sending back what they need to. I won't go into all the details. It's all here if you want to read it. Fireteam of 4, you say? Well, you're going to be given a ship this time. A small freighter. Should have a pretty good complement on it. So do what you need to do. That said, if it looks bad, it's going to be bad.
We've been through bad, sir. I'm not worried about it. We got this.
Now you can go on.
Alliance.
You can understand that the mission objectives here are rather open-ended.
Yes, sir. It's nation building. I get it, sir. We can't have dissidents running amok in our territory. I know it's an old settlement. 10 years has gone by, but that's fine.
That means he's had 10 years to solidify whatever position he's had. Now, if you're lucky, the people rose up and took him out a long time ago. But as things go on these proximal colonies that are just off the beaten path, that may not be the case. So you're gonna have some
Yep.
tech. If you want to requisition, she kind of like furrows her brow. You can have an RI if you want.
Oh, thank you, sir.
That's up to you. This particular one has a bit of an attitude and a body.
What's an RI?
Robotic intelligence.
Nord. Or
Nord? Aha!
Who the hell is that? Dolby is not a big fan of RIs. But is this? He's gonna say this RI has been tested for any issues.
What kind of issues do you mean?
You know how they just spontaneously start shooting up your team.
That doesn't happen anymore.
That's what happened. Well, it didn't happen, but never mind.
She nods. All right. You're going to get Alfred.
Okay. Has he been on any missions?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Alfred's been around for a good... She thinks about it. 100 years. He's old school. Gone through a couple different chassis. This particular one is reinforced, heavily armored, about 3 times as strong as a normal Zen. That said, he will follow your command, and she hands you a little device just in case. Should be. It just has a button on it.
Yeah.
It's a.
I got it.
All right. We'll hit up Apollonia Station. You guys will take the fast track past to Jupiter 1, off to Neptune. It's going to be a few weeks, week and a half perhaps. And then you'll take your dastardly trip.
Yes.
I won't see you for 3 or 4 years easy.
It's possible that you'll be older than me when I see you again, sir.
Don't think that's possible. She smiles. As you stand up, she shakes your hand again and gives you kind of like the half hug and says in your ear, "Be safe.
Will do, sir."
Remember, hangover's awful, but a hangover after cryo-sleep can kill you." Just this big shit-eating grin.
Good thing I got some time. And not
All
that
right.
much alcohol.
As we montage into, it's been a little bit of time. You guys are together in your quarters.
I would have everybody join me in the mess.
In the mess then. Dolby, during this time, do you look through the documents or do you just wait?
I will not look through the documents until we are getting on our boat.
Okay.
To
So
full
you're in the
sail.
mess. You're all there. Dolby, you note that Aliss Brick, who Carthonen, I believe, shot, sits down next to Skip.
Alice. Good to see
She nods.
you. You
She
still good at that sniper rifle?
She manages a smile. Yes, sir. Burgess
Glad to
doesn't
see
look
you
happy.
joined us.
Yeah, I didn't have much of a choice.
Well, you want to be here. And
Yes.
I'm gonna bid. Career to see if I can check out if she's a spy, because I'm not
Yeah, sure.
very happy about.
Yeah, this is the dread, so you guys can bid. Just a little bit of lore drop. Also, I see Anonymous Panda, whoever that is. I'm assuming it's Ember. Whoever Anonymous Panda is who's looking at the document, feel free to comment. It's not going to edit anything, and I can look back and see what you think. Add, subtract, tell jokes, etc. You got the Prime Marine Corps, the PMC, which is a part of the Prime Naval Brigade, PNB. You got the Special Operations Corps. So this is for you guys too. It's called SOC. Members of the military who are chosen for operations outside of the normal call of duty. So those are SOC operatives. And then you have the Vidan Toy. These are the rumored security that doesn't exist. For the military and SSA alike, some have began calling these members of this clandestine group the Toys. They're otherwise known as just operatives. So a Vidantoi is the secret police. They're the Gestapo. They're also called Toys. They're called Toys because the government uses them like toys. And they're rumored. They're Section 31 of this universe. Hello, Anonymous Iguana. Right. Okay, so the action's on you. Sorry. Lore drop. Continue.
Oh, I just bid career, just to verify that she's on our side. I'm
As
not
you bid
super
career, you know you do not need to throw down. You can tell there's something going on with her, but she is not an operative. Not 3 days ago, she was labeled a dissident, which dissidents, if they're lucky, are sent to a penal colony on an asteroid. Usually they're publicly gotten rid of. So maybe because she was a Marine prior to this, maybe because she's pretty young, and the fact that you guys brought in Brick, the leader of that dissident group. You remember there's that scientist as well that had something going on. Something has happened to get her in good standing. So with that bid, you can tell your name is Dolby. You can tell Dolby that she's walking on thin ice and she knows it. Like she's been given the talk.
Dolby says, just following orders, right?
She nods again. She looks fine. Yeah, sir. Sniper rifle all the way. Anything you need.
Burgess, Skip Trace. Nice to see you.
Good to see you again, Lieutenant. It's been a while.
We got a mission coming up. I don't know anything about it. I don't need to know anything about it, but it's going to take a minute. And we're going to go on a little trip, and it'll be fun.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? We're on a spaceship. We're going where the spaceship goes.
Are we gonna have to do that that deep sweep thing again?
That means
Dolby
yes.
takes a sip out of his flask.
Yep, that means yes.
You see Alice just kind of shake her head slightly, and if you're nearby her, you see that she's actually sweating a little bit as you're talking about cryo-sleep.
Have you been in cryo-sleep before?
Only once. I didn't like it at all.
Where'd you go?
Let's see. We went out past Centauri to one of them lifeboats in distress call. And you see her just kind of stare off into space for a second before shaking her head. No, there were no survivors though. Yeah, we got there too late. Using one of the Mach 3 engines instead of the 4 or the 5. The damn, and she just ellipses. She like cuts herself off.
Damn.
Damn Voidborn had known what they were doing. They would have lived.
Yeah.
She musters out.
Don't worry, you get used to cryo-sleep.
You think?
I've been in it a couple of times. You're fine. You'll get used to it.
Yeah, but
All
will
right.
we ever get used to where we're going? Are they going to tell us then?
It's all about the process. You gotta just be in the moment. Sorry. Didn't mean to break character.
Lieutenant, could I ask, do you know anything about the mission? Do you know anything?
Do.
Is it, if cryo-sleep, I'm assuming it's at least the proximal colonies. Is it further?
It'll be a little while.
She nods.
I'll fill you in when we're getting close.
All right. So we will montage unless you want to do anything else.
I think Dolby won't study anything about the mission until the night before, and he'll probably be drinking and grumbling.
Okay, so we'll go on.
He will tell because he trusts Burgess and Skip once Alice is elsewhere a few things. So once Alice gets up, I think Dolby will make it uncomfortable for her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe use some long silences that he's very comfortable with and just kind of stare at her.
Do you bid anything to seal the deal?
He bids authority.
And you can make her feel uncomfortable. Is there a goal in mind other than just
No, just I think he wants to like her, but she was on the wrong side, and he knows about following orders, so he's going to give her the benefit of the doubt. But you know, after being betrayed in the last mission, he's a little sore.
As you do that, you see she catches your eye a few times. She lowers her gaze. You're going to get a good read on her since you've bid twice for her. And I'll give Burgess and Skip, you guys can bid or throw down for this. So if it's a bid or throw down, you just need one success if you want to throw down. If you bid, you automatically get it. And of course you get something a little bit more better based on what you bid. But it's up to you.
I'm just gonna throw down because I don't know
Yep.
what's going on, basically.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to throw down.
For the chat, this is one of the DreadLore mechanics. It's a reaction type roll.
Only one.
Yep, that's all you need. Threshold is 0.
Would it be
What about you?
would it be wits?
I think wits would work.
Okay. 4 successes.
God damn. Really? All right. Well, you get a narrative point. You beat it definitely by 2. So go ahead and write down a narrative point. And if you wish, you can use that to change the narrative a little bit. It's up to you. Dolby, as you do this, you're gonna get a read on her. You can tell that she wants to be in the good graces of you, because you're the person who, whatever you report is gonna be what's said, and she knows it, and now you know it. You have a lot of authority in her situation, but also there's something else. You realize she's probably done her homework on you, and she knows you kind of have a temperament, and so she's actually worried that you're gonna be a fuck up, because if you fuck up, she's fucked up. And I'll give you a little bit more. Her family gets fucked up. As it kind of hits you home, oh, she's from Lunia. She's from the LLP, the Labor Party. Oh, wait a minute. Like, there's some shit.
I got a little hold on her.
You have a huge hold on her.
Okay.
That said, you also you're savvy enough to know that if she thinks you're gonna fuck her over,
man,
okay,
before she gets up, I'm gonna tell her, if you stay in line and you do what I tell you, you'll be fine, and we'll get through this.
She nods. As you guys both got your successes, you pick up that on what on what Dolby just said. There's some sort of agreement there going on between them. As for Burgess, you see her soul. Do you spend your narrative point or not?
I'm going to save it.
Okay, I was going to say there's not much more to get here. You just pick up that you pretty much know what Dolby says. Yeah, I can't. It's like so many names. Okay, we will montage unless you have something else.
One more thing as she gets up, I might have a couple of things for you to do. Get back with me in the next day or so, before we split off with this ship.
She kind of sidelong glances you and gives you a quick nod. All right. No problem. And right. She walks off. So we will montage.
All right.
Names are hard to Indeed. Yeah, I just decided people from Lunia had a slight Irish accent. Anyway, yeah, so we montage to Apollonia Station and beyond. Dolby, what did you want to have? What kind of scene did you want to have with, or encounter did you want to have with
Well,
Alice?
I wanted to give Burgess and Skip a heads up that we're taking a long trip.
We'll drop again into that into the just part of the montage. So it'll be you guys, and Alice is elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some more water. Continue.
Okay, guys. I trust you. We're gonna take a trip. It'll be. I don't have my former second, so I might ask when. I might get Skip if you would help me with some stuff. The old brain isn't as great as it used to be.
Oh, yes, you need me to look at it?
No, I don't need you to look at my brain, but
I meant the materials.
I need you to help me. Some materials for sure. I trust you. We're gonna take a long trip, so anything that you think you need on the other side, like a few light years from here, I recommend picking up on the station. And yeah, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but I feel like we got this. It's an espionage. We just got to do a little nation building. and I'm not sure if we're gonna go in hot or if we're gonna go in covert, because we might be able to just get away with overturning the figurehead, as long as whoever the leadership is joins Prime
Lieutenant,
and rejoins the society. Yes.
far be it from me to interrupt you, but nation building sounds like quite the euphemism. Nation building sounds like something someone would say when, go out and nation build.
Yeah. Well, we just need the nation to be built on the platform in which we all live our lives. That's all. They're good people there. I don't want to kill their whole society. I believe that maybe it's just the leadership that has gone astray, and we just do a surgical strike, or convince them that they've made some bad decisions and maybe they should change their mind.
I'm from Prime, and I didn't really pay attention in history class. Not that I had much of a history class, but they kind of condensed it down. And one of the few things that I learned was that a lot of nations were built on the ruins of the opposite of what nation building is nominally taken to mean. So are we nation building, or are we a nation build?
I think we're nation. We're more like welcoming an old relative back into the family.
Are they going to welcome us back into, or is anyone going to welcome us?
I don't know. It's been 10 years. So they overthrew the guy that was in control. Honestly, we don't care who's in control. I don't want to be in control of running this colony. As long as they will agree with the alliance of settlements and stand up on our game. And it just means all they have to do is play, and we'll be fine. It might take a little pressure, but we got some gear. We got some guns. Burgess, we're gonna be fine. It's not anything that we can't do. We might have an RI associate, which I'm a little concerned about. Do you guys have any concerns about RI?
If we have to go in hot, I'll be there. If you have to go in covertly and you trust her enough, sounds like the sniper may be good there. RIs, just don't let them be behind you.
Sure. No, we'll send the RI in first. If we got to go hard, we're going to put him in the front. We'll put you guys just behind him.
I'm going to give you a pick for that. That was hilarious.
That's good.
All right, so you've been doing your stuff. Go on.
Yeah, we've been talking. I was just kind of bracing them that we're going to be gone for a little while, and that it would take some finesse potentially. It may not just be a run and gun. I don't know why they put me in for finesse, but I'm guessing that basically finesse isn't going to work. So we'll see.
Ember just gave you a pip.
Oh, nice.
So you got double pipped.
I might get drop the load and get in the
That means you got to drop the load. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. You can thank Ember for that.
Thank you.
So when they get the 5 pips, if they get over that, or actually if they get the 5 pips, they can drop the load and just gain a trait. So well done. All right, we will montage then through to Apollonia Station. It is a massive station. It's partitioned in several different ways. I'm not going to go too much into it because you guys don't spend that much time there. Down below the red planet, you see hundreds of miles below. Hundreds of miles? No. What is it? The International Space Station's what, 20 miles up? Is it 30, 20?
The International Space Station orbits at around 285 miles.
285. Okay, so it is hundreds of miles. Okay, good. Excellent. So, a few hundred miles down below, you see this massive, sprawled out city. One of the 3 major cities of Mars. It is called Apollonia. But you guys aren't here for very long. We'll say just maybe a day, a night. That eve, Calabash invites you out, Dolby. And if you go, then you guys get drinks. Dancing and that sort of stuff.
Dolby's in and warns Burgess and Skip to not go big.
Skip and Burgess. Brick.
Oh.
So Aliss Brick will actually come up to you while you're on Apollonia Station. And she'll bring a bottle of... What's the Martian alcohol?
Marzahol?
Marzahol. Is it Marzahol?
No.
I mean, that could be the well.
The well. Yeah, it's a little
Marzahol.
It's I mean, I know what the Martian drink is, okay? And it's an Olympus martini.
Oh. Actually, Olympus is one of the other 2. Olympus. Yeah, the Olympus martini. Nice. Although a martini is just one single drink. So we'll say that it's the it comes in little gas can looking kegs that they do. It's fucking Mars. They're hardcore. As she brings one of those things to the door, she's in normal clothes, as a normal. Obviously, she's a Marine, but it's not BDUs. She knocks on, we'll say, your guys' collective door. Ding, 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 ding. You open the door. She's there. The question is, do you accept her invitation? Do you guys drink together and such, or do you tell her to fuck off?
I think we should bring her along.
This is what it comes in.
Oh, that's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Little keg. She'll have like 3 or 4 of those. Well, to that end, Dolby, are you going out with Calabash or are you going out with your men? Because that is mixing officers and enlisted. Which you can do.
No, I'm
you
going to
can
go
do
with
it.
I'm going to go with Calabash and.
All right.
And
so you guys go off and have your own fun.
I'll suggest to Burgess and Skip to treat Brick right.
All right. So she comes to the door. Dang, dang, dang. Do you guys let her in?
Yep.
She kills you all. All right. So, as this is the montage, you get to decide, or the chat gets to decide, do you get drunk? Does anything sordid happen, chat? If you want something sordid or drunkenness or anything specific, chat, to happen, you spend your channel points for a narrative point, and you can make it happen. Unless it's really dumb, and then I'll, probably still make it happen.
Dolby's
okay. So
Dolby's
you guys
definitely going out with
with
the
Calabash?
26-year-old, Calabash, fighter.
Caravan, whatever her name is. Lord. She will wreck you. So what's the night like with the enlisted? What's that like? You guys tell me.
Considering it is Martian, this is like home for me.
Yeah.
So, I will. If anybody has any trouble drinking it, it is not me. So I'm like doing straight double shots of it, but not too much to get drunk.
Right. Sounds good. So you're drinking. What about Burgess and all that?
Oh yeah, I'm getting messed up.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty clear to you, Skip, that Brick is trying to impress you. Impress both of you. So she is absolutely keeping up with Burgess. And you might also get the feeling that she's got that Irish drunk going on. So she can go a long time. As at this point, maybe halfway through the evening, 2 of those of the 4, we'll say, of those little barrels are gone. You guys have been putting a hurt on. You're feeling little Marsy.
This come from.
Yeah.
Did this come from the Victoria crater?
She nods, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Tastes like that.
Oh yeah. I see you're aficionado. She kind of like stumbles over her words a little bit.
You grow up here, you get to know the taste of places.
That's my favorite. Martian ale is my fave. And whatever this is called. They said it was good. Had martini in the name.
Yeah. It's not as good as the straight stuff, but
She kind of looks. Says Victoria on it. She kind of blanks. You want another?
May need to slow down if we're going to hit cryo-sleep soon.
That's a good question. Do either one of you know where we're going to go? I mean, I know we're going out, but...
Captain just said, be ready for cryo-sleep.
That's kind of his way, eh?
Yeah.
She nods.
I may have to help him look at the things, but we'll find out.
It's maybe a good idea. I mean, I'm new, so... She looks over at Burgess. Hey, listen, no hard feelings, all right?
Sure.
She kind of nods. All right, we go out to Calabash and Burgess and Dolby. You guys go out. It's like a disco on the station. The station, it's one of those they don't have like a room that kind of spins, you know, and all kinds of stuff. And they'll have, since it's one of the massive stations, it'll actually have some artificial gravity. Which means you can do some sick dance moves because it's like, you know, 3/4 gravity.
And of course, Dolby is significantly older, and so he's got that old man dance. I mean, he loves dancing and he's going for it, but he's not super fast or delicate. It's kind of like a one-man mosh pit. And if he gets close to somebody, he'll probably knock him over and just not pay attention. They'll bounce right off of him.
Here's a question. Does Calabash like it? Let's have either the chat can decide, which I'll give you a good 20 seconds to decide, or we'll just do a high or low roll in a second.
He's like an old punk rocker.
Since we're pausing for a second, I will go back and say, after Burgess said that earlier, I'm gonna be like, when a mission's over, you let it go. You don't want stuff from one mission affecting the next mission.
You're saying that to Burgess?
To Burgess and Alice, basically. So that way it's...
Alice almost immediately nods. Because you're kind of saving her. Burgess, what do you do?
Nothing.
Is there any affect at all? Do you let on that you agree or disagree or not?
Say, look. I suppose I can let this go. And I will let it go. After this mission.
As she kind of nods, under low eyelids, you both can tell that she's picking up what you're laying down. Calabash, however, so we didn't have an answer from chat. Chat, answer. Is Calabash into Dolby's dancing or not? So we'll just do a roll really quick. Do a high or low. Which one of you wants to roll it? Burgess or Dolby? Okay, Skip, go ahead. And your name is not Nord. It is Dolby. Call it. Oh! Will Gotham says so into it. Very surprised by the energy. All right, what is it? We'll see if it agrees.
It was not high.
All right, but Lil Gotham says so. So
she vetoed it. She vetoed the die.
That's right. So Calabash, at first, maybe she's a little bit put off by what's going on, and as she gets a little more she gets a little more drunk, and she goes down. I'm gonna let you deal with that, Drizzle.
Yeah.
Sorry, chat stuff. Yeah, and you guys dance the night away. She's rather professional.
I'm gonna bid close combat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna start sparring with her on the dance floor.
Oh my god, that's awesome. All right. Sounds good. Oh, did you delete that? Sweet. Thank you, sir.
I denied it. So
you denied it? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a real quick message to, hey, don't spam.
Yeah.
I don't know if the chat saw that or not. Yeah, guys, if you're coming in here to spam, go fuck yourself. All right.
Yeah, no. You
go straight to hell.
Well, I could allow it or deny it, and I denied it, so it shouldn't have gone.
You denied it? Good. Yeah,
so
chat, there was like some spam that blew up, and Dr. Driz was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, your name is not Nord. Should just be Nord for this game. Dolby. Dolby, how do you initiate this fight?
Well, it's he's going deep, and then he's like noticing that she's not
just
running
going
away.
deep. What? You're doing what?
It's going like hardcore, like just.
Oh,
it's capoeira.
He's a fighter, and so he clearly knows how. Has some moves. He's good at swords play and stuff like that.
Swords. So, all right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So you just haul off and try to knock her in the face.
No, he'll do a shoulder check first.
Yeah.
Something
she sees
light.
It. Sure.
And then he'll like
you amp it up.
He'll amp it up, and he'll give her a little shoulder check with his arm. Like, what are you doing?
Are you attempting to fight her on the dance floor?
Well, it's like a flirt fight.
Oh, a flirt fighting. Cool. All right, throw down.
Yeah. So it's close combat, but it's more like it's like a fight where we're not hitting each other to hurt each other, but we get to the point where we get close and then we pull the punches.
Oh, you're pulling punches. Lil Gotham says burning sensation at the disco.
Yeah, no, it's for burning sensation, by the way.
For burning. All right, who wants to roll for Calabash? She has a +2 bow def.
Yeah.
Which means she just get a +2. All right, I'll tell you what you can roll, Faha, really quick.
And what is that?
She's got D8, so it'll be a D10 and a D8 for her. It'd be Brawn. Or Grace. Either one.
All right. He's more of a brawny guy.
Yep. So a D10 and a D8?
Yep.
All right, here goes.
And then she gets a +2 successes to it.
Oh, nice. Can I use an
You can
ability?
use whatever you want. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna do Blades Master.
Blades will not apply to
Oh
brawling
dang!
unless you're
what
pulling
about
out a
master?
knife.
What
You're
about
like,
authoritarian? What about authoritarian presence? You know,
yeah, that
Just-
could work. That could work.
because he's. So is
Sure.
that an additional dice?
What upgrade do you have on it?
No, no upgrade. Just
Oh, then what it'll do technically doesn't give you any of that stuff. It would give you
Mhm.
normally bonus successes if you had upgrades. So what we'll do is we'll say that you get a mulligan on one of your dice. So you can
nice.
re-roll one of your dice, but you have to take whatever the new result is.
Alright. And can I bid drunk?
No,
Oh,
you've already bid.
All right. Well, I got a 7 is 1 success. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, 4
Good.
to 7 is 1, 8 up is 2.
That's only 2 successes.
All right, what did you get?
I got 2 successes.
So that's
on the
4.
die. So that's 4.
All right. So
She schooled me. Well, she is a
so-
bit younger than I am.
So Dolby, I'll give you a chaos die for this. Now here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Before you roll it,
If you roll
there's
a 1,
stakes.
it's bad.
if you roll that 1, it means a mishap happens. So basically,
Oh,
rolling this
God.
chaos die, if you get that success, you don't lose as bad.
Mhm.
But if you roll 1, you're gonna look awesome. Do it.
All right. I got a 2.
Nice. All right. I'm gonna laugh if you accidentally pop her in the mouth. And in fact, I really like that, Embrit. As you're play fighting, you're like ha 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 as you punch her. You hit her. Therefore, there's a brief moment where the dance floor goes right, just because there's a fight. Because we're in the future, so it's like it's not about like chivalry. Chivalry's gone. You're in a neo post-capitalistic horrible society of hell. No one cares about that shit.
Guess who lost
Not
their
to say
field
that
promotion?
chivalry's good. Huh? What'd you say?
I said, guess who lost their field promotion?
as you pop her in the
I don't know. She
mouth,
might like it. She's a fighter. She's not.
she turns. Ember says smooth move X-Lax. as Calabash
Heard that.
turns, holding her lip, she licks the blood, looks up at you, and she goes, "Okay," and fucking decks you, just with a left cross. As you spin around, you gotta go down to a knee, kind of hurt your knee a little bit. She comes over, reaches down to help you up, and you see that she's smiling and bleeding at the same time. As you guys-
I'll congratulate her on her left hook.
As you guys dance the night away. However,
You got me this time. I'll get you next time.
she gives you a wink. As you dance the night away, she keeps it professional though. You did not get a clean success. It's one of those. She says, "If you get back."
Yeah.
As we montage. Go on.
Yeah, I gotta go through the brief anyway. I'll probably I'll probably thank her for an amazing night and go study the brief.
Oh, you actually do study it. Nice.
Yeah.
As we
I'll
montage.
message I'll get on my little flip phone and message Skip.
Oh,
to
so you want to
meet
have
me
a
in my
scene with him.
quarters.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then in that case, we will not montage. We will go through the briefing. The briefing. Skip, you get on your short range. And if you guys have seen The Expanse, you guys essentially have those flip phones that they're super computers that are, really thin and holographic and the whole thing. As it lights up to go to his room, I'm assuming you do.
Yep. Looks like Lieutenant needs me. Don't finish those off, you two.
Oh no, no, of course we wouldn't. Good. Take your time though. Take your time. As she's
And I'll
undoing the second one or the third one. There's only one left.
and I'm headed out.
Okay. So we'll head over to the lieutenant's quarters. You guys are there, and you got several documents to look at. There's
All right.
information all over. This will actually be in the Dread. Some of it has classified information that needs security clearance. The most is security clearance 3. I don't know if you have that
Nice.
or not.
I think what it's a. I
There's of
have
course a bunch of
SAC
general information.
I have SAC 1 clearance, but I also have the ability to bid, I think, above that.
Yeah. So it's sec clearance. So you being, let's see.
And then she promoted me to a first lieutenant, so
Yeah,
I
I've
probably
seen
have
that.
a clearance that is
Let's see.
whatever that is.
So in the document, it's assuming people are enlisted. So the actual modules, everyone will be enlisted and not officers. But for you guys, obviously you are an officer. You will have sec, we'll say sec 3 because you became a first lieutenant. You'll have sec 4,
Okay.
which is really high.
Yeah.
Good evening, Lieutenant. Looks like there may have been a scuffle down there. Everything okay?
Well, I was flirting.
Oh,
How you feeling? Do I notice anything about him, or am I inebriated enough to
I'm sorry, you're sec 3, not 4. That's my bad.
3? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong deal. Let me go over this really fast. No sec means no excess. Sec 0 is all military status, general affairs. So all of you have sec 0. Sec 1 is general command operations. Sec 2 is command operations, the propaganda mainline. Sec 3 is initial SOC level. So that's operations. The beginning of the truth. So Dolby, you're actually getting real information.
Oh, wow.
Some of it is redacted, but of all the stuff that you're currently looking at, it's not redacted. You're getting like
Nice.
actual information.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's up to you if you want to. Does he know you're drunk? Are you drunk?
I don't think I am drunk.
No, he's not
'Cause
drunk.
It's my, like I said, it's my home booze. So
Home booze.
I'm used to it.
Right. I'm
So
gonna
the action's on you guys. What are you doing?
I'm gonna bid senile, which is a flaw.
Yeah.
Are you smart? You're pretty smart, aren't you, Skip? Or you think Burgess is a smart guy? What's his deal?
I'm not. I would assume he's a smart guy. It's
Yeah.
You can't be in this line of work for too long without picking some stuff up.
Sure. Well, let's look through this and.
I'm going to use my narrative
what's
point to make one of them realize that I'm the only person in this party that hasn't been decked by a woman. I'm the only burning sensation that was not decked by a woman in this session.
As that Skip, you notice the shiner on Dolby's. Where did she hit you? In the mouth? In the
She
eyebrow?
probably hit me in the nose. I probably had a little nosebleed. Not
the nose.
much.
As you both just happened to notice each other's
Probably
wounds.
knocked it into place.
Yeah. Notice each other's wounds maybe for the first time. And think back. How is it Burgess has never been cold-cocked?
I see you were flirting too, Skip.
No, I was practicing. You've got to stay on your toes.
Sure. Good man. Let's look at these documents.
All right. So,
and also anything that you read or hear in this room doesn't leave this room. It's need to know.
You keep it from Alice, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you bidding anything? Are you doing anything extra? I should describe your room a little bit. You're in Apollonia Station. This is just a little vestibule chamber. Since you're an officer, it's a small private room. There's a little desk, not a bunk bed, an actual bed, closet, that sort of thing. The floor is magnetic, magnetically charged, so metal grates for your boots. Although there is gravity, artificial gravity on this station, just in case. There's that, and you actually have a window too.
Nice. I'll bid military life. I was a E3, or I was, of a status.
You were an O2.
Oh, an O2.
You're an O2 right now, actually.
Okay.
Field Commission O2.
So
Right.
I'm just gonna be military life.
As you look through these things, and you can cut through the bullshit, flipping through, the README part, and just all the floss. You find out a couple things. One, you can research Novus Terra. Two, you can research the purported quote-unquote rebels that you're going to assuage of being against the ISA or the SSA.
I'll definitely research both of those.
Which one you want first? And do you
Novus Terra.
split up the work between you and Skip, or what's going on?
No, I think we should go through it together. I feel like if anything were to happen to me, he would kind of take over.
Well, what I mean is, do you give him a document and you both read and figure stuff out, or you just kind of read it together?
I think we read it together.
Okay, you have a reading together session. Starting with Novus Terra, as a little hologram appears. Some goofy music. Think of any time you've been onboarded to anything. Hypnotic. Hypnotic.
Elevator music.
Dun, 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 dun. Novus Terra. Hydroponic agriculture. Rare minerals. Exotic energy sources. Biotechnology. Asteroid mining. Research and development. Tourism. You see ... Which one do you click?
Tourism.
Fuck you. As you see, like, some pictures of Novus Terra, and it's kind of like a very arid, dry, high elevation, tundra filled mountainous region. There's this bluish kale looking stuff that's growing everywhere. Think of the red weed in War of the Worlds, except it's bright blue, because I'm creative. And there's like some weird animal that looks like it's about the size of a dog, but then you realize that it's gray skinned and such, blended into these blue bushes. Then you realize you have nothing to put to scale, so you don't know how big it is. As you flip through some of these, there's big lake. The colors are all off. With all the blue vegetation, the lake itself looks almost like it's pastel, and maybe you guys begin to wonder if these are doctored photos. It's hard to tell. There's a boat on the lake, but you notice that there's no one on it. And finally, it gets to the actual settlement itself, which looks like a string of it looks like a compound, a string of space storage containers very colonial, that have drop shipped onto the surface and then been connected.
Do we get
I've been
any?
drinking, so we're gonna do something else too. Cues
Do we
the
get any
elevator
stre-
mute music. Huh?
Do we get any strategic information?
No,
from
you click
this?
tourism, you ass. We're gonna do a fate roll really quick. Who wants to roll fortune? Who wants to roll false fortune?
I think Hulker should roll fortune.
He
Got
does
it.
roll high.
We'll do
Who's
that.
false?
I'll be
Okay.
false.
Here are the stakes. If it's false fortune, it's not a breathable atmosphere. Go you there, fourth.
What you got, Hooker?
I got 99.
Oh my god. What'd you get, Drizzle?
A 38.
Okay. And Holker was fortune, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This place is so oxygenated. like you're gonna feel great. And in fact, you realize that the fine print says you're gonna feel fucking great. Yeah. It's like redacted. You hit your Sec 3 clearance. Fucking yeah. It's
And
so
the,
oxygenated that fires burn blue. Yeah.
The gravity on here.
Yeah, it is comparable to Prime. So it's like a what is it, M class planet? It's very arid.
Mostly dry.
Rather dry. There's not a lot of water, and a lot of it is very salinated.
Mhm. I mean, of course.
And as Ember says, you might actually get high from the O2 levels. it's pretty high in nitrogen
definitely-
and oxygen.
Should we be careful
Definitely
about
Nord
the
spot.
amount of noise we make after walking around on this planet?
I have no idea. Should you? Was that a joke that I didn't get? Probably.
Yeah. Giant
That's true.
sandworms.
What do they mine here?
But it's not sandy. It's not dune.
No. It's just dry.
Yeah, it's just dry. Yeah,
Right.
there's blue root everywhere, man. There's no
Yeah.
root on Arrakis.
What do they
Arrakis.
mine?
What is it? Desert planet.
Spice. They mine
The
spice.
Moadi.
Spice must flow.
The spice was fear is the mind killer. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. I'm gonna start. It's probably
Fear
really
is
annoying.
mine.
Fear is mine. It's a good band. Yeah. So that's tourism, you dick. What else?
Mine. What do they mine?
Oh, what are they mine? Rare minerals. Unique mineral deposits, valuable for advanced technologies, such as rare earth elements, cobalt.
All right, that's good enough.
Yep.
I think
Mind
Dolby
you,
falls pretty
mind you, you bid for this.
Yeah.
So, as it says cobalt, it dings in both of your heads. Cobalt is used, it is a very precious material, specifically for like batteries and such, for hardware and these sorts of things. So if this planet is rich in cobalt, there's the question of why is it so remote? As in, why is it not really heard of?
Interesting. Why did the rebellion happen? Can I look at the old guard?
I'm sorry?
The old guard, the former president, what he was into.
Indeed.
Or leader, not president.
Oh, he was the governor.
Governor.
So, of settlements, if they're of a certain type, they have a governor. And all this is in the setting document, which I forget before I look it up, so whatever. Governor Alexander. What's his first name? I didn't write a first name for him.
Oh, I
No,
thought it
his
was
name was Bell.
Alexander Bell.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. His name's Alexander Bell. Or I should say, I forgot and I didn't fucking write it down. Yeah, Governor Alexander Bell. These things that you find out about Alexander Bell. It's pretty vanilla stuff. He's a politician, of course. He is a primer, or was a primer. You do some quick math. He should be in his 50s. When he started the colony or became the governor, he was probably in his middle, late 20s. Blonde hair, very tall, maybe 6'4" or so. A natural leader. And it seems like, since you have Sec 3 clearance, it seems like he had a political career on Prime, but when it didn't quite go as planned, he got this governorship. And it was supposed to be kind of a big thing. But these documents don't have all the information. They don't have like news and all that shit.
Sure.
It just seems like it was supposed to be a big thing, him going to this place, and then, I mean, you've never heard of this place, unless you have, and you can bid for that. Both of you. God damn it. Anybody. You don't have to bid. Nobody has to bid.
I doubt Dolby would care.
And
Yep.
Unless there has been some sort of skirmish on there before, I probably would not know.
That would be up to you to bid to know about.
Armaments? Does it have any planetary defensives?
It does. Remind me as we move back to so that Burgess can play.
Mm-hmm.
Burgess, you're sitting there. At this point, Alice is opening up the 4th little keg. As she's smiling, you can see she's teetering a little bit, but she's upright. She's got that good old Irish drunk on. And so I know that she just holds her head. I know that. What was his name again? And she looks up at you.
It doesn't really matter.
We should keep a little bit from him. For him.
Sure.
You understand. She starts pouring you drinks. The action's on you, sir.
I take one of them and make it look like I'm pounding one of them. I might take a swig and then I put it down on the bar. Most of it's spilled anyway.
Are you bidding anything to do this, or are you just kind of doing it? If you bid it, then it's one of those things where it affects the fiction. Otherwise, it's just something that's kind of going along. Meaning, when you change the fiction, you have an intention to get across. If you don't bid, then it's just up in the air. Does she get it or not?
I'm going to bid strong.
Right, because you are drinking, so you're...
Yeah.
I dig. Okay. You've downed a lot of alcohol. So it's difficult. Go ahead and throw down. This will be a threshold of 2. What this will mean is this. If you are successful, you are drunk, but you're able to handle it and think pretty clearly, and you're convincing. If you fail it, you're still drunk, and it's kind of just up to her. Does she see through it or not?
2 successes.
Yeah, so you're at limbo. As you do this
with a 10.
Oh, so that gives you flair. That means you recover an exhausted trait or a proficiency. That's what flair gives you. So if you bid something, which you've already bid, you can regain that trait. That's what flair gives you. As you spill a little bit, sloshing down the drink and such, you see that she seems 3 sheets to the wind. maybe even blackout drunk, as her eyes kind of flicker to you spilling the drink, but don't really recognize it. All right, so are we gonna do all the? Are we gonna go all the way then?
If we get all the way back from whatever the hell we're gonna end up doing.
Hey,
Then understand me when I say I will no longer want to you know.
and she kind of cackles. You're speaking gibberish, man. What are you saying?
You know the kind of pet shelters where you can say if we drop off a pet and 6 months later, even if the pet hasn't found a new home, they're still keeping the pet around. And you know, it's not the kind of shelter where it gets 6 weeks and that's it. You know the kind of shelter that you want to drop your pet off that you don't want anymore, right? You really don't want this dog or cat. It's just kind of annoying, but at the same time, you just don't have the heart to be resigned to its fate, right? The kind of shelter that you can drop off a pet at, and 9 months later, you know, it's still going to be annoying them. It's not going to be annoying you. It's going to be annoying them, right? That kind of a shelter? I'll be okay if you end up there.
And she nods. Hey, let's drink again. She pours you another shot.
Yeah, I drink again.
Okay, what else do you click? Oh, so he's bombing hardcore, Ember says. What did you click?
What did I click?
No, back to you guys.
Oh,
Armaments is what he clicked.
Armaments. Defenses.
That was not one of the options.
Oh, wait, it wasn't.
Nope.
I can't remember the options. I wasn't fast
right
enough.
Hydroponic agriculture, rare minerals, exotic energy sources, biotechnology, asteroid mining, research and development, tourism. This is one of the documents. You have you have two of them.
I know that the Rebels is the second document. Let's go ahead and look at the Rebels.
Rare minerals.
Rebels.
There's
The rebel
no rebels.
document.
Oh, you're
Rebel
looking at the rebels. I
documents.
see. You're looking at as you
gonna
switch to
switch.
the other document. This is clearly set up, by the way. This episode. This is supposed to be episodic, right? Like when we do the one shots, you guys will continue on this guy. You see 3 names. There's a whole bunch of different pictures. Think of like any spy movie, like Cold Fusion or any of those movies, where it's like black and white, obviously satellite photos that go down. They're kind of grainy. When I say satellite, these are, you know, Hubble telescope satellite style, like deep space, incredible distances is what they're taking photos of. You see several shots of this compound. It looks like how big would it be? It's not a Hooverville looking place. But it's not nice at the same time. It kind of looks like a Soviet bloc. It's near one of the rivers. You see a large structure. There'll be little, imagine like Google map captions that say like desalination plant. There's a couple different, they look like Epcot Center. These spheres that are on stilts, and these are power plants. They use nuclear energy. And then intermixed all sorts of these compounds. It looks like they're about 2 to 3 stories at the most. Most of them are ground level. They're all on stilts, you note. And there's a little description. They'll say anywhere from a meter to 3 or 4 meters. So for real English, like 3 feet to, 12, 15 feet or so off the ground. And it's because of floods, as in flash flooding. Right. Some of the photos show mobs of people outside in this rich atmosphere. And it looks like they're at rallies. You see it's grainy, but leading up to the compound, and then here and there, it looks like large telephone poles with maybe they're transistors. It's difficult to say what there are, but some sort of object on top of them. And they're telephone poles that at the top have a crossbeam. There's 3 mug shots, and different sides of the faces, a lot from the top down. Looks like it's been done over years because a couple of them are losing their hair. The main guy, rebel leader. It is spelled, his name, KONFU umlaut SHUS.
Confucius. Hey, are you trying to say something here?
The other one is Moriarta.
Okay, Holmes.
And the other one is Axel.
Hmm.
So, Confucius with a K. It says Ethno-Asia Soviet. That's his race. In this time and place, the races and cultures are quite different, but think of that. So something like Kazakhstan or former Soviet Eastern Bloc. Not Eastern Bloc, sorry, Eastern Soviet Union.
I'm guessing more our transistor radio is English.
Well, we'll get to that. So just with Confucius, it says that
Okay.
Confucius killed the governor, Governor Alexander Bell, and then took over. Ideologue, it says, anti-capitalism, very charismatic, fascist.
Nice.
Ember says, he goes, I don't remember the choices. What's the other thing? So all of the options to confuse you more. Moriarta. Oh, I should describe it, Confucius. So Ethno-Asian Soviet, you see a guy who, imagine Fidel Castro as a young man if he were Mongolian. So
Okay.
the same sort of proletariat looking outfit, Chinese communist style of Mao Zedong outfit. Very plain, the collared shirt, the 2 lapels or 2 pockets, button down. He's smiling. He's got this look of a rugged hero. Dark hair that actually has a wave to it. And he's kind of looking up. It could easily be a socialist realism poster. You can tell that this was done probably when he took over, and that was at least 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Nice.
Moriarta, his right hand. She just looks like she's angry. She's got this look on her face like she's just been scowling, and then someone took a photo. Underneath her, it says, right hand, ideologue, anti-capitalism, no slavery. That's all it says. To give you a descriptor of kind of what she looks like, she has dark hair. If you know, in the Superman movie, the Henry Cavill movie, the very first one, the one with Zod. Is it Zod or Zog?
Zod.
Sod, I think.
His right-hand woman.
Yeah.
That's who
Pretty.
this is. So she's kind of Baltic looking, dark hair, tall, beautiful. She could easily play a femme fatale. In fact, Goldeneye, the lady who played Xenia, would work for her as well. So think of that person. She looks like a badass.
Nice. And Axel looks like a 80s rock band.
That's exactly what he looks like. He's got blonde
Long hair.
You see his
A lot of bright colors.
His picture actually moves, and he's like,
Yeah.
yep. It says idealist, ideologue, and he was the former bodyguard to the governor.
Oh, nice.
And he looks like Axl Rose. All right. But older Axl Rose. So he's
Sure.
like buff.
Sure. They just played Guns N' Roses played in Lexington
Did
last
they really?
week.
Yeah,
Did you guys go?
Nope.
I almost
Fuck.
went. I had a conference that was, my conference was right next to it.
Oh,
I didn't
well,
go.
shit, I would have gone.
I did a music video series with Gilby Clark. Name drop.
Really?
Yep.
Well, you have done a lot, and you need to get more credit for it.
I agree. I'm not
Okay.
a narcissist.
To finish this montage, the action is on you two. You've got all this information. What are you doing? Or sorry, it's
Quick,
finish Dread. You're actually not in the montage.
Quick thought.
Yep.
Dolby knows this is a socialist. We're in socialist world, right?
You're not in socialist world. You're in fascist world.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
So-
Your government out of game. Your government is absolutely. It's a militaryocracy.
Right.
It's a fascist government
So
for sure.
Dolby will say to
Or corporatocracy
Skip.
also.
This guy seems all right.
Maybe we can do this the easy way, but I don't know.
You get a narrative point for that. That's awesome. Continue.
Yeah, let's go for the easy way. I mean, there are assholes and then there are assholes, but all he has to do is salute, for fuck's sake, and like join in, play the game. I mean, this should be a cakewalk. As long as we can get to him. I think the hard part is getting to him. But maybe we get a bribe to him or something. I don't know. Bring something. I wonder if there's something here that he might want. Is there any more information about Confucius? I guess he
Nope.
probably doesn't want anything.
No, all you know is actually all you know is that's the dossier on him. He was probably born there because this is, as Calabash told you, this is a second generation colony, which means they colonized it probably 100-ish years ago.
Yeah.
So he was born there.
Is there a population report?
Yep.
Like men to women.
Men to women,
ratio?
it's in typical colonial fashion, it's what it should be, or else the colony just fails.
Will fail. All right. Okay.
So it's not 50-50, it's 51-49, I guess.
More
Or
women than men.
52. Yeah, absolutely. The population is not huge. It's around, let me see. You guys can go ahead and talk amongst yourselves while I look these notes up.
Idealism can change in 10 years.
It's true. A lot could have happened. I'm surprised we let this go for this long. And
Well,
I feel like they should be sending a diplomat. I guess they expect it'll be hot. We gotta make sure that we load up on some ammo.
I'll have Betsy with me. It'll be fine.
Good. I guess they don't want us to... And we just drop some bombs on the palace and just go for... They probably don't want that. I want it a little quieter than that. Maybe...
Yeah. If you take out a rebel, you just end up with another rebel.
That's true. Too bad we don't have Carthonin anymore. We'd get her to stir up some trouble.
You see, the population is, at the time of this, is around 15,000 colonists. However, you have some photos of over time, since they're deep space photos, that have newer information. And while there are no captions, you can see that the colony has grown by about a factor of like 2%. And it calculates quickly. It's about 18,000 people, you could assume.
And did we know any military presence?
Oh, indeed. As you're looking through, the colony had 2 warships. They are frigates, medium-sized frigates. So that would be enough to... One frigate would be enough to destroy the colony itself. It has enough firepower from orbit. 2 is pretty good. Granted, they're old. Around, we'll say 70 years old. Granted, a lot in the colonies are.
How old is our ship?
Well, you're on Apollonia Station, so you don't know.
Oh, we haven't. It's not in this document.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Let's do that. Let's montage it through. You guys are looking at this as you go to where you need to be.
Sure.
So you pop over to Jupiter Station. You guys are kind of reviewing a lot of this information because there's a lot of it.
I'm gonna. Can I
go on? Well, hold on. Before you do that, let me move it forward because otherwise we're going to spend the entire time doing this.
All right.
So we montage to Jupiter Station. You're learning some of this stuff, and then you will get to Neptune Station, where you're going to be picking up the small freighter. It's a military vessel, heavily armed. I'm sorry, heavily armored. And it has 2 tactical nukes on it, 6 rockets, and I think they're called PEBs. Is that proximity something? PBMs. Anyway, it's the machine guns that shoot down rockets and fuck up shit at close range. What were you gonna say? That's where you guys are gonna be, though.
I was gonna make a couple of hangover smoothies to give to my crew.
You do. You do all the good stuff. You all are hungover for a while. Takes you about a week to get out there, and so you'll be non-hungover by the time you get there. Your lieutenant loves you. It's clear. The result of Alice's drunkenness. She seems fine in the morning. It's almost like she just doesn't get a hangover. Dolby comes in with these. What are your hangover milkshakes?
Probably got ketchup and barbecue sauce, like wheat churn, raw eggs.
I was thinking of something
soy
good.
Sauce. They're very savory. You know, it's space stuff. You know, like those Chinese food. Sweet and sour packets.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where we're gonna be. Anything you guys want to fill in since that's through the montage? There's no bidding during those. Anything you want to throw in?
Nord is gonna get some.
Nord will?
The Nord will fucking die in space because he doesn't have a spacesuit.
You see a space van come flying by the.
Zooming
I'll
by.
give you a pip for that. That was funny as fuck.
Dolby is going to pick up some space drugs that he's going to give.
Space drugs? What space bugs are you going to get?
What is it called? They're quartz or corks or to
Quart?
enhance
Quart. Quart? Yeah, so it's basically cocaine.
Yeah, his
good thing about
people.
space drugs is that you can carry as much as you want because they weigh nothing. Therefore,
they do weigh. They have mass. You have to move them. Fucker. Okay, roll a d6, and that's how much you can get. We'll say d6 plus 1.
5.
Right.
I rolled a 4.
Right, so you have 5 little syringes, like little tiny syringes, maybe 1.5 inches long. As you stab them into your body, you get high on coke.
He doesn't use any of it. He's gonna just keep that stuff a secret.
It's very bad for your health, so everyone knows.
He's not gonna tell anybody about health.
You guys are at Neptune Station, and this is where we're gonna take a short break, bathroom break, and all that good stuff. You guys want to call it 5 or 10 minutes? What's good for you?
Either.
Tell me. 5, 10.
Let's say 5.
I will say 10 minutes. So 10:28. We'll pop back. Yay. So go use the bathroom, get some coffee, do your thing, chat. Go use the bathroom, get some coffee, hang out. Ember, change the gauze. What did you do to yourself? What did you go and do? Ember rolled in. She was like, "I'm bleeding," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
No.
Yeah, we're gonna take 10.
Space.
All right, we'll be back.
I think we're gonna cut the stream.
Yep, hit it.
And then
let me tell them really quick.
Okay.
Are you just gonna cut it and then redo it?
I can cut it, redo it, and then cut it again when we start. So
well, let me think, because we have about an hour left. Yeah. Okay. Should I tell them? Can they hear me right now?
Yes.
Hey,
everybody
hi everybody.
Can hear you. We're still not cut.
Should I tell them that? As in, do they need to rejoin, or?
I don't know.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is just so that we can. Amber's like, yes, you're on. So what we're gonna do, chat, is so that we can do this as a podcast. We're gonna cut the stream, and we'll be literally right back, very very soon. So go ahead and do it, and yeah.
All right, we'll be back.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.